Okay, let's see if I can review not one, not two, but three figures in less time than it took me to review one. And this time we will get the audio right on the first try. Here we go. So this colorful bunch is from Jakks Pacific. They've been doing Sonic figures for a while now, and recently started doing figures with much better articulation than the 4-inch ones. These are around 5 inches tall. So why are they wearing superhero costumes? Well, that's because there was a comic book crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog and DC. And I was surprised at how much fun I had with it. They really nailed which characters to pair up. I mean, like Sonic racing the Flash, that's obvious. Batman having like kind of a brooding moment with Shadow was great. Knuckles and Superman talking about how they're both the last members of their races. Amy just kind of fangirling over Wonder Woman, Tails and Cyborg, obviously. And then Silver just kind of fits in with Green Lanterns because Green Lanterns are already all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Like they could just throw Silver in a future Green Lantern comic, and I love that. So I'll be reviewing these from the perspective of a parent because the primary audience for these toys are children, of course. But I'm also a guy in his late 30s who's been playing Sonic games all his life, who may have gotten a little emotional watching Sonic 3 when that big moment happened. If that is interesting to you, then please feel free to. And let's get started. So let's play with these for a minute. Let's grab Amy. And these are pretty nice. They feel good in hand. They're sturdy. So, if you got kids who want to play around with these and be really rough with them, I wouldn't be too worried. In spite of the fact that these have some pretty small joints, like I still would be a little nervous about like these like shoulder joints maybe breaking with too much rough play, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, these are really posable in spite of their character designs making it so hard, I would imagine, to design like articulation for. Amy, she's probably got the most range because she doesn't have quite as huge of a head as the other guys. And her ankle rocker is really nice, so you can get her into some nice poses. Let's take a look at Sonic. Sonic looks great as the Flash, just makes sense. Balances pretty well in spite of his huge head. I actually had a hard time just getting him to stand in like a, just like a neutral pose, but once you get him into any kind of like dynamic pose, he stands fine. Getting him to just like stand up, which, Sonic doesn't do that much. He's always on the move. But yeah, this is definitely a bit more of a struggle. And I was actually surprised that I was able to get him like balanced into kind of a running pose without the need for a stand. Let's see if I can pull that off on camera. Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool, right? I think that's cool. Then we got Silver. His ankle rocker is actually quite nice because of this boot design. Got the ring on there. Yeah, Silver looks pretty good as a Green Lantern, and all these feel pretty good to play with. So yeah, as far as handling goes, thumbs up. So let's talk about value. Value to me is, how good the paint is, the price of the figure, and the quality of the plastic that you're playing with. So on that front, these are pretty good. They have decent paint application. You might see some blemishes here and there. I'm pretty forgiving because these are not expensive. They're only around $17 a piece. One kind of funny blemish I noticed was on Sonic. They kind of missed when they were painting his mouth. That black line should be in the sculpted detail. Amy again for a second. You can see what that's supposed to look like. Looks really clean when they do it right. So, minor quality control issue, not a big deal. I might be able to fix that. Yeah, we got Silver here as well, looking pretty good. The Green Lantern ring looks nice. Yeah, these are These are absolutely acceptable for the price. There's also a multi-pack, and parents, this is what I would go for. It's got Sonic, Silver, also Shadow as Batman with a light-up feature, and Darkseid for them to fight. I didn't pick that up because Darkseid isn't really in scale with the figures, and I want the solo release for Shadow without the light-up feature that has been announced and is coming out later. So as far as value goes, thumbs up. All right, let's see how these guys scale up with other figures. I'm going to have just one of them on screen since they're all roughly the same height. This is going to be a quicker one. I don't have a lot of figures that I think go with these, but let's see what I can find. So let's start off with some McFarlane DC figures. I actually don't have any like just basic Batman, Wonder Woman, any of those. These are ones that I bought and painted up for my Mythic Legions, but they were a little smaller in the comics compared to the human characters, but this is pretty close. This looks good. I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm not a huge McFarlane fan, but now I really just want a standard McFarlane Justice League. Next, we have some orcs from Medi Toys and Mythic Legions. A smaller scale Jakks Pacific Sonic and SH Figuarts Mario. Sonic and Knuckles from the movies. These figures are in the same scale and have the same type of articulation. Some NECA Gargoyles figures. I'm actually kind of surprised at how good this looks. Okay, this is fun. We've got some Play Arts Kai figures here. We got Ezio and Dante. Scale right here is pretty close to how the Sonic characters looked next to the DC characters in the comics. So what can we do with these? Let's first look at articulation. We are going to compare to an older Sonic figure. This is from their 4-inch line. These figures generally just have some leg articulation, and you can move the arms, rotate the hands, and the feet, and the heads. Not a whole lot of range. You see a lot of people customizing these quite a bit to make their articulation more acceptable. But that is why these are such an upgrade. We got butterfly joints, which is crazy for a Sonic figure. We got bend at the elbows, we got bicep swivel, we got these hands that can open. Not as big of a fan of these, because when you open it, it's like what are you gonna do with this? This is a very strange looking pose. What is this? What am I doing? Still though, the hands look good closed. And of course, we've got nicely articulated legs. We can bend at the knee. We got swivel. And we got an ankle rocker. The ankle rocker is actually better on the other two figures. But aside from that, the articulation is pretty much the same. These guys actually really shine once you get some accessories on them. You know, if you have any kind of green, transparent accessories for silver, you can kind of get like a green lantern construct thing going. For Amy, you know, she actually holds weapons pretty well, so you can get that whole like warrior Amazon look. And Sonic, I struggled to get any of my electricity pieces onto him, but there was this cool One Punch Man punching effect that reminded me of this really great panel where he totally destroys Reverse Flash, so that was fun to play around with. So even though these guys don't come with anything, they are super fun to do photos for and can get into pretty much whatever pose you need them for. So as far as range goes, thumbs up. All right, and to wrap things up, I thought I would show how these guys look in the display case. So here they are in my Sonic display. They look great, especially with the movie figures. I am really digging this new scale and articulation scheme for Sonic Jakks figures. I hope they keep it up and maybe give us some video game accurate figures. That would be amazing. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye.